Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. 12 days into the new year. Hope it's going strong for you. We're doing pretty well over here. Things are going really well. Now, resolutions. We had our resolution podcast last week. We're doing pretty well. I hope you guys are too. They say, and by they I mean the experts say most resolutions will be done in 2 weeks, 14 days. The average resolution lasts 14 days. I don't know where I got that from. I just remember hearing it somewhere. Which means some of you are still going strong, but some of you are dead in the water. Resolution is already gone, already over. Maybe you tried for a couple days, maybe you didn't try at all, but for some of you, the resolution is already dead. Now, two ways to handle failure, if that's the case, right? Two ways to handle failure. Now, one is, hey, look, there was some part of your life that you wanted to change, and that's why you made a resolution to begin with. All right? So now you can be that person that just accepts the failure. Hey, you went out there for 12 days, and you failed. That is what you are. And just take that failure and just throw it on top, heap it right on top of all that disappointment that led you to make that resolution to begin with. And just mire yourself in it. Just bathe in that failure. Or I recommend option B, which is to learn from it. Learn from that failure. Take an honest look at what your resolution was. Was it a little bit too excessive? Was it too difficult? Did you set the bar a little too high? Why were you not prepared? Maybe you weren't prepared. Why did you fail? You can change around the resolution. There's no law that says the resolution has to be January 1, start January 1. It's all very, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? I forget. It's, it's just a random day on a calendar. There's no real difference when you think about it between December 31 and January 1, flipping that page in the calendar versus January 12th and January 13th. You flip the same page. Well, just a couple pages more maybe. So you've gone through, you've learned something. So now you can just adjust, restart, try to do something else. Just don't give up on yourself. There's something you really want to change, something that you really wanted to make better in your life. Don't bathe in that failure. Don't do that. Just own it, accept it, analyze it, learn from it, make adjustments, try again. Try again. Don't look down on yourself about it. Success is right around the corner. Try to be a little bit more optimistic. That's just kind of my quick little resolution speech, update speech for you guys at the moment. Anyway, our resolution was very broad. We left it broad on purpose. We left it broad intentionally. There's no real measurables. Our resolution was think big. Are you thinking big? We're thinking big, and we're thinking about it. We're constantly thinking about it when it comes to things like training, personal training, and how you're doing, the work that you're putting in, the effort levels that you're putting in, the goals that you have. Not setting a top. Are you setting a top? I want to run a 5-hour marathon. Are you setting a top? I do want to run a 5-hour marathon. I think that would be great if I could run a 5-hour marathon. But why just stop there? Why not go to 4.5? Why not go to 4? Don't limit yourself. Think big. Our whole mantra this year is think big. And in some ways, we've already kind of seen it. We started to open the book a little bit this week. I'll give you a couple examples. Number one, we have a Strava group. Do you guys know we have a Strava group? It's called a club on Strava called Team Ordinary. Ron Booz started about a year ago. We had about 40 people on there. I posted it one time to our discussion group and 20 people signed up. We increased our club membership, I would call it, by 50% in like one day. And it was great. It was great to see. I tell you, I don't use Strava enough. I have an account. I've never really used it. I've never really fallen in love with it. But it is a very useful tool. And especially when you can connect all of your workout stuff and kind of funnel it all through your Garmin, Zwift, any of that stuff. Your Garmin can do, if you have one that does swimming, If you're doing swimming, it'll do your swims, it'll do your bikes, your outdoor runs. Now that I'm doing Zwift on the treadmill, Zwift running, that's going to get all my treadmill runs. The Zwift gets all my rides, my indoor rides. All of my workouts are going to get funneled into Strava now, which I think is great. And it's really just another level. I tell you, there's some people, I use Zwift a lot. You guys know that. But there's some people out there that don't use it. They use Training Peaks or not Trainer Road or what was the other one? I forget the other one. Ruvi. There's a couple other ones out there now too that I forget. Anyway, they use other platforms. I don't see them on a day-to-day basis or a month to whenever. I don't really see them. But then I go over to Strava and it's like all these people that I used to talk to, that I used to work out with, I used to see at races, and now I haven't seen them in a while, and there they are again. They're just on other platforms or doing other things. And it's great to kind of give them my support and my encouragement. And even if it's just a thumbs up, right? They all have that like button. And I know kind of like there's a certain fickleness to Facebook likes and Twitter likes and thumbs up and all that stuff. There's a certain strangeness to it. But there is, you know what? I think in the running community, it's okay. It's okay to feel good about stuff like that. It's okay to feel good when someone else encourages you or gives you a little thumbs up or tells you you're doing a good job. It does feel good. It kind of just provides a little bit of that extra encouragement to keep going and keep at it. And I think that's a good thing. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. Strava group has grown 50%. We've been doing our group rides. So we did a group ride with USA Triathlon on last Wednesday. That was amazing. We had an awesome group there. We had a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone for showing up that day. We got a bunch of new YouTube subscribers, which is really helping us out. I think we're up to like 173. That really felt good. And then our Thursday night trivia rides, they have been probably the last month, more people than we've ever had. Over 20 people per ride, and that's a good showing because I invite like 100 people. And most of them, you know what? If you came to the ride before and you seem to enjoy yourself and have fun, I just keep inviting you. And I won't, I want to keep inviting the same people. I want them to come to feel invited. I want them to feel like they can come if they want. And if they can't make it for one weekend or a couple weekends in a row, whatever it may be, like we'll still be there. You can still obviously get invited. And if anyone wants an invite to that, by all means, let me know and I can add you to the Thursday night trivia for sure. Or the 5 a.m., 6 a.m. rides, which we'll be talking about later. Anyway, the 5 a.m., 6 a.m. rides too, those have been the 6 a.m. ones actually now in particular. I'm seeing Elena Fajaco out there, Lauren Rosenstein out there. Who else did we see? We're seeing Aaron Shepard, Michelle Bowers, Mike Taruso, man. I thought you were coming today, but you didn't come. Mike Romans, obviously, Ronald Booth, Todd Seiden. I'm seeing a lot of names out there that are showing up again at these rides. So it's, and they may not be huge. I understand 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. is difficult, but sometimes what happens is you see other people doing it and you say to yourself, man, if they can do it, why can't I do it? And then you start showing up. And then you start showing up every once in a while, and all of a sudden, there's an accountability factor that develops, and it's like, man, I want to go. I want to be part of this thing. I want to make sure that they know they can rely on me to be there. There was a couple days in the beginning of this ride when we started those 6 a.m. rides where I would show up and it was just me. And I got to tell you, some days when it was just me, I would just go to bed. That's it. I would be done with the ride. Instead of doing 2 rides at 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., I'd do the 5 a.m. I'd show up at the 6 a.m. I'd be like, no one's here. I'd go to bed. I need you guys. I need you guys to hold me accountable. I need you guys to show up. You guys showing up, and then I'll do the ride. And today was one of those cases, one of those days where I got on the 5 a.m. We did a really strong workout. I could have easily said, all right, you know what? This was a great workout. I'm done for the day. Pack it up, head back upstairs, shower up, have some breakfast. But I didn't. I stayed on that ride, and a bunch of you guys showed up at 6 o'clock, and we went out for another hour and did more, and it was good. And that's what I need. I feel like that's part of what I need. So I'm thankful for that. And the more people that can join those rides, the better. And it feels really good that at the start of the year, all of our social rides are just improving and growing and getting better, which I love, which I absolutely love. Podcast format. So we're going to have actually, before I get to that, there was a couple other people in the group before I started. I'm shocked that we're already seeing races in the new year. 2021 was supposed to be the year that some of these races started coming back, and already we're seeing cancellations and people putting postponements. They're pushing out their races to the fall. Spring races getting pushed out to the fall. My half marathon was pushed to the fall. I know there was a Little Rock marathon that some of my clients were doing that has been pushed out now to the fall. I see it all over the place. It's frustrating. Boston Marathon, obviously another one. Just things getting pushed away to the fall. But we did have a couple of ultra races go on this past week. Number one, Jeff Beeson and his wife Chris Beeson, two of our teammates. I love hearing from Jeff. He always doing nutty things, and man, the guy's I basically watched this guy become an ultra runner in front of my eyes, and he's a good dude too. So I like to see it. So the two of them did the Bandera Ultra Marathon. Bandera had 100K. So Jeff did the 100K, went out there and did, 62 miles, something like that, at least. For some reason, I feel like I saw his Garmin data and it was like 66 miles. I don't know if he got a couple extra bonus ones in there or what. And then his wife, Chris, did, I think, a 25K. Chris, please, I'm sorry if you did a 50K. I totally apologize. I should have looked it up beforehand, but I didn't. But I think you were in bad weather too. So even more power to you guys. Congratulations. That's an awesome job. Brian Burke and Jacob Polson also did, I guess Burke had a sort of a private race that he put together. A bunch of people came down for that. And I think they did a 50K, and I think Burke and Jacob both got that done. So congratulations, guys. Great job, guys. Amazing. Just amazing seeing those big distances getting done so early in the year. It's good to see. It kind of feels good to see people racing again. So now to the podcast, because we are going to have a little bit of a format change this year. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but we're going to have, unfortunately, the changes that we're going to see are going to come at the expense of probably having more guests on the show. I love having guests. Guests are a staple of the show. We will include some guests going forward. It's just not going to be my top priority to get guests in every single week, and I hope you guys are okay with that. Doesn't mean I won't be bringing guests in. I've already had a couple people approach me so far this year and say, hey, you know what? I know a great person to have on your show. Would you like to bring her on or bring him on? And of course I would. And I'll reach out to people that you guys recommend, and I appreciate that. And we can bring them in. I'm just not going to make that my top priority. I'm going to kind of deprioritize recruiting new guests for the show. Honestly, we've had some pretty big name guests, and we've had some guests that have really they've spiked our viewership, our listenership temporarily, but it's usually always temporary. So it's not like, it's not like it carries the show. The guests don't seem to carry the show in terms of going forward. I love having them on. I love having that little short-term spike from their popularity. But it doesn't really build our community as much as you would think. So we're going to deprioritize that. What I do want to prioritize though is you guys. I want to prioritize the people that listen here. I want people that, come and listen to the podcast, people that participate in the community, people that are on Team Ordinary, people out there getting it done. That's what we want to do. We want to continue to support you, encourage you, and if so, provide that levels of accountability where we can. So this podcast is going to become, and this is what I envision it being, is sort of a review. We're going to start out with a review of the prior week's training, and go through what we've done or what I've done or probably what I've done personally, combined with any sort of group events we may have. Ultimately, we're thinking big now, right? Ultimately, I'm thinking we're going to try to build up our schedule and have a lot of different places where you guys can go and work out as a team, or combine maybe like challenges or, live streams, that kind of thing, where if I'm there, that's great. If I'm not, so be it. We'll talk about all that stuff. We'll recap the prior week, every single podcast. The podcast obviously will come out either early in the week, hopefully Monday, Tuesday. This week I got a little delayed, but hopefully we'll get this out on Tuesday night. And then we'll talk about our schedule for the next week. We'll look ahead. So if I was to do the schedule, if I was to do this format today, and we will, we're going to talk about all the workouts I did last week, and then we'll talk about this week, which already started, obviously, and the days ahead. So I think that's a good starting point. Now, this may not work. We're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. You may say to me, Scott, I don't need to hear all your workouts. I don't need to hear them. I don't want to hear them. You may say that. Or you may say, Scott, I know that you guys ride at 5 or 6 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You don't have to say it every single podcast. Okay, then that's the case. Then let me know if it bothers you. Let me know. But we're going to try to really kind of set this as a community. I think, one of the things I kept talking about last year is I don't know, I got into kind of a into like this, not rut, but into a routine where I would watch a lot of Mike Romans refers to it as inspiration porn. Right, you watch that Eric Thomas video, and then you watch the David Goggins video, and whoever, you just roll those. You just keep watching them. And what do? You get excited for yourself. You want to go get up and do something, but do you get up? No, you just watch the next video and the next one and the next one, and you wind up sitting there. And what happens is these guys get, they're getting clicks and views and all that great stuff on their YouTube channels. You're getting so excited. You're getting excited, but then you don't necessarily put it into motion. And what do? They move on to their next speech, their next gig, their next thing. And they just leave you there. They leave you there in a lurch, right? And if anything, it's their job. It's a little conspiracy, cynical me. It's their job to keep you just interested enough to want to watch them give their little motivational speeches from week to week, but not motivate you enough to get off your butt and actually just not need their motivational speeches anymore. It's entertainment. I want to do this. I want to talk to you guys. I want to get you fired up. But I want to give you guys options to come and train with us, whether it be through Zwift runs. We'll be doing our virtual races, any kind of challenges or other things that we think of. Hopefully stuff like that coming out in this year. And so that we can build this group and just say, hey, this is worth it as a community, as a team. This is worth it. And I hope that we kind of develop that going forward. And I think we can. And I really think it could work. Think big. Think big. What else we got going on here? Let's do that then. Let's just head on into this past week and kind of rehash the week. I got everything on Zwift here. I'm going to try to put these videos up on the YouTube. So if you're watching the YouTube, that's probably the best way to do it. And you can just look. You can see these workouts for yourself. We started it last week. We started it on Monday, obviously. So when we talk week to week. First of all, guys, we're always going to start on Monday. I know technically Sunday, right? I mean, Sunday, we start on Sunday. That was the Happy Day song, right? Sunday, Monday, Happy Day. The week start on Sunday. But for us, we have our I think we got to bundle our weekends together. That's when we do our long workouts, typically our long runs, our long bikes, whatever it may be. We keep those bundled together. Endurance athletes, we start our week on Monday. Can we just agree on that? So we'll start our week on Monday. Monday, I took an off day. Last Monday, took an off day. Rest and recovery. Rest and recovery is super important, guys. It really is. You need time for those muscles to repair, and for those legs to feel better. If you've been running a lot, you just need a little bit of time to recover. Science says you will get faster if you let yourself recover from time to time. And that includes not only just once a week, at least once a week, taking a little bit of recovery day, but every once in a while, you have to throw in a recovery week in there. And recovery week and even recovery day, that doesn't necessarily mean that you do nothing. It is not a do nothing thing. All right. Recovery, it can be swimming. You can go on the elliptical and just set the resistance super low. It can be the bike, setting the resistance really low, keeping that wattage really low and spinning those pedals. A lot of people tell me what they tell me, especially from coaching. They say, I understand that I need a recovery day. What my concern is that I have a really good routine going to the gym every day. I feel good that maybe it's your lunch break or maybe it's before work. Setting that alarm that you get up and you do that workout, or that you're going to the gym on that day. It fits that routine. It fits your schedule. And the fear is that if you don't do it, you might learn to not do it, and that not doing it is okay. So maybe you don't do it one day because you have a recovery day, but then the next day you do it again. And then the next time you do 3 days, and then a week, and then 2 weeks. Next thing you know, you're losing fitness and you're off of your training schedule. And now you got to scramble to get back onto it. I understand that, right? Because we're creatures of habit. And we like to keep our routines sometimes. So yeah, get in there, do a swim, do the elliptical, set that resistance level super low on the bike or whatever it may be. Go. I hesitate. Listen, I know that if you have experience running, a lot of people will do recovery runs. I get it. I think for non-experienced runners and sort of amateur triathletes, it may be too much. It may be too much. I mean, your legs take a pounding when you run. A walk, that would be great. Walks are great. Are great for recovery day. Lessens the impact, lessens the resistance. It's really, really good stuff. I had a client that lived in New York City, and he would tell me. I remember telling him he would take a couple weeks off intentionally because it was kind of the off season. His race wasn't for a while, so he would take a week off or maybe 2 weeks off, and I'd say to him, make sure you get 10,000 steps a day. And he'd say, yeah, I do that all the time. I do that. I walk the dog. I can't really leave the house unless I'm walking. I got to walk different places to go to the food store, go to restaurants or whatever. He's going to walk through the park every day. The guy goes on walks all day. He doesn't even blink an eye. 10,000 steps. Oh yeah, I do that. And I tell you, every time he went through 2 weeks without doing work, he'd come back and I'd be really worried for where he would be. And man, really super resilient. Hardly lost at all. And even when he did lose, he would gain it back fairly quickly, quicker than I would have expected. So that's what it is. Walking is a great recovery tool too. So definitely just think about it and lessen the resistance and go back at it. But me personally, I took the day off. I didn't do anything. But I came back Tuesday with a vengeance. Tuesday morning, I did do the 5 a.m. ride. Ron and I have been doing a training plan. Romans does do it with us as well. Sometimes Todd Seiden does it as well. We might talk about that at a later date. I do want to kind of rifle through these, although I don't want to get into too much detail of every workout. I did do the 6 a.m. ride last Tuesday too. So I rolled a workout ride into a 1 hour, sort of a zone 2 easy ride, and that felt good too. Tuesday night, we did a race with Matt Shore. Matt Shore has been doing a weekly Tuesday night race. Mike Romans and I did it about a month and a half ago, and our goal was to do it again in 6 weeks, same exact course, try to replay it, do it again, except this time do it faster and do it better. It's not a very fair apples to apples comparison because there are certain factors that can change your time. It's not like just wattage and how hard you push the pedals for however long the race, in this case, about a half an hour. There's also things like drafting and race tactics that can come into play. You get power-ups in the game that could come into play and change your time by small amounts. So, but when you look at overall, you can look at wattage, your average power output, and both of us improved significantly over that 6 weeks time between races. And our time also improved as well. I think Mike's improved by a little over a minute. I was drafting a lot during the race. My time improved by like 2 or 3 minutes. It felt really good. What feels good is acknowledging that training works. And all that hard work that you've done in between pays off in the end and shows results in the end. It feels good. It feels good to know it works, that it's paying off. And that you're not just getting up at 5 a.m. every day for nothing, or however often that we get up in the morning for nothing. Wednesday morning, Ron and I did a run, 5 a.m. Ron's been doing this run with Ron, 5 a.m. Love to see it. We did some kind of course in Central Park, which is kind of neat. I actually really like, Ron chooses these Central Park courses a lot, and I love them because I used to live in New York City, and I used to run those trails when I lived there. This is 15, 20 years ago. And even though it's Zwift and it's a video game, it has in certain places, it does have a real feel of New York to it. Especially having lived there, it's like I can kind of almost nostalgically remember these places and how it was to run in them. And it is kind of neat, but I like doing that. And we did a great workout on Zwift that morning. I tell you, the one thing about Zwift workouts that I love is that, when I do a workout for an athlete, a running workout, the chances are they're going outside, they're going to find a trail, they're going to find a track or a street or whatever it may be to do their running. And they're just going to focus, they're going to have their Garmin watch usually or some kind of watch on to tell time. And I got to make sure that I give them something that's A, that's challenging, but B, that they can remember it. Because it's not like they can kind of write it down and, and refer to it all the time. And, occasionally once in a while, I do see people write their workout on their inner forearm, right? And then you sweat and you just kind of hope that it stays. So I've seen people do that, but I don't want to give you a workout that's so complex that you can't remember it. because I do see that happening all the time. Now, if you run on the treadmill, and you can run, by the way, you can run outside with the Zwift run pod as well. I don't really like doing that because I feel like you can't really run and kind of look at your cell phone at the same time. Kind of, I don't know, it's awkward, defeats the purpose. You might trip and fall. But on the treadmill, I think it works great. I think it works absolutely great. And you don't have to remember your workout. You don't have to think about, and they can be as complex as you want because it's all on the computer and they're going to tell you what to do. They're going to tell you how fast to set the treadmill based on your prior performances. And you can just go and do it as best as you can. Try to follow as best as you can. And I love it. I got to tell you, I love it. And I wish I would have been doing it a little bit more. And, besides that, we did a 50-minute run, a 50-minute workout run. And I got to tell you, typically, nowadays, if I was doing just a regular midday workout, I'm probably more like 3 miles, 30 minutes, something like that, 35 minutes, somewhere around there, than 50 minutes. So it's nice to kind of get that extra time in. I think it's going to help. Wednesday night, we had our USA Triathlon ride. It was really a solid workout that we did. And we got about 60, 70 people, somewhere around there. We got a whole bunch of new followers over on YouTube, people that came and watched the YouTube channel, the live stream during that ride. It was great, man. I tell you, it was a lot of fun. I wish I could do those rides more often. I only get them once every 5 weeks, but we did have a lot of people show up, and it was a lot of fun. The live stream's up on our YouTube channel. Thursday morning, I got to tell you, Thursday morning, listen, I had done a lot Tuesday and Wednesday. We did Tuesday morning, Tuesday night. We did Wednesday morning, we did Wednesday night. Thursday, I decided I wasn't getting up at 5 a.m., especially since we had a ride Thursday morning. We had a ride Thursday night, our Thursday night trivia ride. So I did skip the first ride. We threw Elena Fajaco up on Mont Ventoux kind of by accident. But she hung in there. She's kind of new to the platform, the Zwift platform. And she had mentioned that she would like to do morning rides with us. So I invited her to the 5 a.m. and the 6 a.m., thinking that she'd probably go to the 6 a.m. But then she showed up at the 5 a.m. The only one there was Ron. And so her and Ron rode up of Mont Ventoux by themselves. So good for her, though, for getting it done. And she did show up in subsequent rides. So we didn't scare her off there. I'm impressed. You should be proud of yourself getting that done. Then we did a Thursday night ride. So I did get in the 6 a.m. ride that morning. Then we did the Thursday night ride, and that went really well. We continue to do really well on the Thursday night ride, getting really great attendance there, and had a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to doing that again next week. So then we had Friday. We came up on Friday. Friday was kind of an interesting day, and we'll talk about this a little bit quickly. Zwift has an event called Tour de Zwift. They do it every year. This year's is 8 different rides, 8 stages, and they do them like once every 4 or 5 days. So you have 4 or 5 days to do each stage, and then they move on to the next stage. So I knew that we were going to be riding on Saturday morning. My assumption was that was going to be stage 1. However, stage 1, the last day of stage 1 was actually Friday. I learned this on Friday. Which is a big mistake because now I want to do it. I didn't want to wait. They do have some makeup sessions at the end, so I could theoretically have done it at the end if I really wanted. But I didn't want to miss the first session. I didn't want to kind of miss out. Now, the problem was I had soft circled Friday to be a run day for me, and running right now is priority. Excuse me. I have to pick it back up. I'm a little weak there, and I really need to kind of bring that back. So I made Friday my run day, and then a client of mine called and said, hey, I'm going to do a bike ride today. Okay, well, what are we going to do? Blah, 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 blah. All right, let's do stage 1. So now he's doing stage 1, and I'm like, man, now I want to do stage 1. So I decided to make a change on the fly, and I did stage 1 of Tour de Zwift. Except the way I looked at it was, let's not forget what's important here. We still got to do the run. So what I did was I did stage 1. I got through it. I forget how long it took me, maybe 45 minutes. I forget what the course was, but I finished it, and then I jumped on the treadmill, ran 2 miles. I felt really, really good about myself. Really, really good about myself. Just got it done. Felt like I just out of nowhere, I got that stage 1 finish, so check the box there, and also got my run done. Even though, I wanted to do a little more than 2 miles, but it felt good to get it done. Give myself a pat on the back for adapting and overcoming and still running. Saturday we went out. We actually did a live stream of Saturday. We did stage 2 of Tour de Zwift, and we did a different little bit of a twist on our live stream, which was we did a Zoom call. So it was me and Matt Shore, Ron Booz, and Mike Romans. We did a Zoom call, and we overlaid the Zoom call on top of the Zwift stage ride, the Tour de Zwift stage ride. So we all could chat with one another as opposed to just kind of me talking and them typing in some of the, the places where we can talk to one another, whether it be the Zwift companion app, which has a little chat room, or the YouTube page, which has a little chat room as well. Instead, we could just kind of talk back and forth, which I thought was excellent. It was kind of a different thing to do. And that video had something like crazy, like 88 views or something as of this morning. So people somehow finding it and watching it. I thought that was pretty cool too. And we got the stage 2 done. Now, Sunday was my long run day. Now, for those of you who've been paying attention to my training, I've been having issues like running 3 or 4 miles. My treadmill is terrible. We've kind of admitted that. And right now, all I'm doing is going off the data on my run pod. So on the Zwift run pod. At one point I was running and Zwift said I was running about 6 miles an hour and my treadmill said I was running 0.0 miles an hour. And look, I know I'm slow. I think I can kind of, I can gauge whether or not I'm going faster than 0. You tend not to get a lot of sweat and movement going on when you're going 0, that heart rate tends to kind of, even at 0, even when you reach 0, that heart rate will tend to stay down a little bit. So something's up with the treadmill and that's fine. I just got to kind of use the Zwift and pay attention to that. Now, I set a goal of running 6 miles. And, those numbers are always relative to where you are in your training individually. So for some people, some are saying 6 miles, like Jeff Beeson, who just ran 100K. He's got 6 miles. That's a warm up. And then other people are saying 6 miles. I never ran 6 miles in my life. My God, that's crazy. So, it's all relative to where you are in training. For me, I'd like to be much better than, 6 miles at this point. But that's where I am. That's where I've been building up to. And I felt really, I felt going into the run. I had told a couple people that I was planning on running 6 miles. So I had a little accountability going there. I did not know how I was going to feel on this run. I really had no idea how it was going to go. I had run 5 miles the week before. It was a little bit of a struggle, but going up to 6, I just didn't really know. Now, I have been running ever since Thanksgiving, a little bit more on a regular schedule, a little more consistently, but not with great consistency. It hasn't been like a super amazing amount. One week I might do 4 runs, which would be a lot. And then next week I do 2, and then I do 3, and then I do 1. And then there's been no consistency, kind of been all over the place. But I've been getting some runs in, but really there was one week in there that I got only one run in. So I didn't really know if I was building. I didn't really know how I felt. But I think, again, you couple it with the cycling and the amount of cycling that I've been doing. And it just helps. It helps to snowball it. If you don't do any running, it's going to hurt. It's not going to get better. Your running will not get better if you do no running. You need to practice running in order to get better running. That's just a little advice from me to you. But if you are cycling and running, it's going to expand that. You're going to have exponential increases in your running than if you were just running. So if you just had a run schedule that was doing 4 runs a week, you'd probably improve, X amount, but you would improve more if you were doing 4 runs a week plus cycling 6-7 times a week or whatever it is that I do. So you get the picture. I started doing the run. I got through all 6 miles. I got through 5 miles. I felt great. And I haven't felt great that far into a run in a long, long time. It's been probably over a year since I ran 5 miles and said, wow, let's pick up the pace for this next one. And that's what I did. And I think, I kind of averaged right around 11-minute miles for the first 5 miles. And remember that mantra, there's a coach's mantra that says most people do their short runs too fast and their their short runs too slow and their long runs too fast. And that's, I'm trying to kind of hone in on that. All right. I'm trying to kind of make sure that I don't live by that. I want to do my short runs a little bit faster, some more interval type running. And my long runs, let's just make sure we get the miles in and shorten the pace if we have to. But I tell you, after doing those 5 miles at right around 11 minutes, I still had some gas left and I punched it a little bit. I think I did about 9:30 or 9:40 for the last one, which, you know what? I think I tried to do a mile test a couple weeks ago and I was right around 10 minutes for my best 1 mile. So those last few weeks of sporadic running with no real schedule, but getting some running done has helped immensely. And I'm starting to see the improvement and starting to see it on the paper. And I love seeing it. It feels really good that my running is starting to improve. So that's last week in a nutshell. Was that I don't know is that a good segment? Do you guys like that? If you like it, I'm going to keep doing them. Hopefully you guys join me on some of these. We're going to be live streaming them on our YouTube channel. A lot of them. Our Zwift rides, we will be live streaming for sure. Let me give you the schedule now for next week, because that's part 2 of this. The schedule for next week tonight. I don't know if this is probably going to get out a little bit too late. But Matt is doing a race. Matt Shore is doing a race tonight. His time trial race. It should be kind of interesting. I think he's going to try to live stream it on his YouTube. On Wednesday, so that's tomorrow at 5 a.m., Ron's going to be doing his Run with Ron. So I'll be there. If you guys want an invite, let me know. We'll get you there. We'll get you the invite to that. And you can join us on your treadmill, outside, whatever you're going to do, as long as you're connected to Zwift. We're doing, what we're doing? There's a Zwift Academy 2020 workout plan. And I think we've done 2 of those workouts. So we're on workout 3 right now. I don't know what that workout is. This is why I got to practice this, and I got to know it for next time. Thursday morning at 5 a.m. we'll be doing our 5 a.m. ride. We'll be doing that L'Etape du Tour training club plan, phase 2, whatever that third workout is there. Again, I probably should have this. Again, I'll learn this for next time. Thursday night trivia ride. I've already seen about 20 people sign up for that already. Hopefully we'll see even more. I do have to work on it. We're going to be finish the lyrics. We've been doing that the last few weeks. I had about 25 songs last week, and we only got through about 14 of them. So I still have some left over. We're going to build on that. I'll get some more to make sure we have a little bit of padding in case we need a little bit more than 14 songs for next week. Or for this week, for Thursday night. Friday, I'm going to run. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's not going to be an on-schedule run. If someone wants to run with me and wants to run on Zwift, let's get something together. Maybe we can come up with another meetup for Fridays. I think that would be a good idea. Friday run for me is going to be a staple on the schedule. So maybe that's a good opportunity for us to add another meetup. If someone else wants to join in, let me know. Love to hear it. And then Saturday, 8 a.m., we're going to try to do the Tour de Zwift Stage 3. I don't know if we're going to Zoom it like we did last week. We might. That would be really cool. We can get the same crew together. If you're out there and you're listening, you're on the team, and you want to join that conversation, let me know. I'll send you the Zoom link. Ain't no skin off my back if you're going to ride with us. So if you want the Zoom link to join us there, let me know. And we'll get that set up for Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. We're going to be doing the Category C ride, which is the mountain course. It's not the Alpe du Zwift, and it's not the Mont Ventoux. It's the Watopia mountain course. It's still pretty tough. You got to do there's a nice climb in there that you got to get up to the radio tower. But that will be the one that we're doing on Saturday morning, and love to have you guys join us. And then Sunday I'll be doing my long run. Going to do that one on my own for now. Maybe I'll come up with something for Sunday long run too. Right now, you know what the problem is? I can't pinpoint a time on the calendar Sunday as to when I need to run. So, if I can do that, maybe we'll try to put together a meetup and see if you guys want to join me. 7 miles on Sunday, 7 treadmill miles. That's going to be a new high for me lately. That'll probably be my longest run in like a year. So hopefully we'll get that done. I'm looking forward to it. It's been, this year so far, so good. I feel like I'm in a good space. We're thinking big training for me, thinking big training for you guys, thinking big for this whole, community that we've got going on and the things that we're doing. We want to kind of build it up and make it more available to you. So thank you guys for listening. I think this podcast is going to be pretty cool going forward. I'm enjoying it. And remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.